Alright, time to take a look at our first triangle center, and this is going to be a center that we call the circumcenter of the triangle. So to get a feel for what this means, what I want you to imagine doing is drawing a circle around the outside of the triangle. And imagine in your mind making that circle as big as you want it. And now we're going to take that circle and shrink it down until it fits just on the outside of the circle. No part of our circle can be on the inside of the triangle. And you're going to end up with something that looks like this. So this circle is as small as possible around the outside of the triangle. It touches at the three vertices of the triangle, but if we were to shrink that circle any more, it would now be on the inside of the triangle. So to describe this situation, we say that the circle circumscribes the triangle. So if one figure circumscribes another, that means it is fit as closely to the outside of that figure as possible. Now we can also say about the triangle on the inside that the triangle is inscribed within the circle. So the figure on the outside is circumscribed and the figure on the inside is inscribed. Now what we're interested in is if we take this circle and it's shrink wrapped, if you will, around the outside of the triangle, that point right in the center, so this point that you see here is now the center of this circle, that point we call the circumcenter of the triangle. So again, the circumcenter is the point that would be the center of a circle that is circumscribed about the triangle. And let's take a look at how this is constructed. If you'll remember from the introduction, I told you that each one of these triangle centers, so remember here we're talking about the circumcenter, can be developed by taking special lines and seeing where they meet on the triangle. So our special line that we're going to look at is a perpendicular bisector. So let's take this triangle and let's get the perpendicular bisector of this side. Perpendicular means it meets at a right angle, and bisector means it cuts it directly in half. So if we draw a line that meets that at a right angle and cuts it directly in half, we're going to get something that looks like that. So now let's do that for the other sides. Let's think about doing it for this side, and again we're just cutting it in half and meeting it at a 90-degree angle, and then we do that for the third side. And you'll notice that all of them meet in this point right in the center. And so that point is called the point of concurrency for these three lines. So concurrent just means that lines intersect at this one point. And all three of the perpendicular bisectors of the sides are concurrent at one point, and that point is the circumcenter. So two ways of defining the circumcenter. We can say it's the center of a circle that circumscribes the triangle. We can also say it's the point of concurrency of the perpendicular bisectors of a triangle. And in the next video, you're going to learn how to construct this with a compass and straight edge. Alright, let's talk about some of the properties of this thing. So first, the location of that actually tells you a little bit of information about the largest angle on the triangle. For instance, if you have the circumcenter, which in this case is point O, being within the boundary of the triangle. So here you can see we have our circumscribed circle, and the center of that is O, and that's within the triangle. When that's the case, every angle in the triangle is what we call an acute angle. That means it's less than 90 degrees, and so we call the whole triangle acute. So this triangle would be an acute triangle because the circumcenter lies within, well actually because all the angles are less than 90 degrees. But as a consequence of that, the circumcenter will be in the center of the triangle. So as you can guess, when situations where we don't have an acute triangle, that circumcenter is going to move. If we have a right triangle, then the circumcenter will actually be on the edge of the triangle, and in fact it'll be the midpoint of the hypotenuse, the longest side. So again, if the circumcenter is in the middle, you have an acute triangle. If the circumcenter is on the edge, you have a right triangle, and hopefully you're already guessing what happens if we have an angle greater than 90 degrees. And you're probably right. If you have an angle that's greater than 90 degrees, called an obtuse angle, the circumcenter of the triangle will actually be outside the body of the triangle. Alright, so to sum up, what we have is the circumcenter of a triangle is the center of a circle that is drawn around the outside edge of the triangle that circumscribes the triangle. You can also find the circumcenter as the point of concurrency of the perpendicular bisectors of the side, and the location of the circumcenter tells us information about the largest angle in a triangle, whether that's an acute, right, or obtuse triangle based on its location.